is Akane Tano, a lecturer in Nansei University. Today, I'd like to talk to you about how can teachers activate peer lessons. It's a kind of practical report on a university in writing course. At the beginning, I'd like to show you a content my presentation. I've divided my part in 5 parts. Introduction and background, practicing method, student evaluation, and conclusion. First, as I mentioned before, I talk about peer response. In order to be successful in writing, peer response has come to be widely introduced, and its effectiveness has been confirmed by a lot of researchers. Ikeda says that peer response is a form of learning in which learners with each other composition and respond to them by offering corrections and elaboration to make their competition better. In this presentation, I want to define peer learning, peer reading, peer response as follows. Peer reading. I want to define peer learning to learn each other in classroom, right? In university and in high school, in junior high school, in language. And then I want to define peer reading as to read what's helping each other through dialogue, talk something each other, right? And I want to define peer response as to read each other's composition and respond and read comment. Second, I will show you the information about university. I research on university in Thailand. We give a lecture for major students from beginner to N2 or N3 JLPT Japanese language proficiency test. We learn Japanese language systematically, step by step, as shown from this view graph. First, student get the lecture about grammar. Second grade student and third grade student, fourth grade student, like that. And then this one, third grade student for writing course is today's presentation. And then I will show you the information about this writing course is as follows. Subject name is writing Japanese 3. Target is third grade student, Japanese major student. And there are 28 students in my classroom. Then this course, goal of this course is this one. Can write a sentence using the grammar, considering the reader. So we need reader and to talk each other or other person. As you know, I said to you, we learn Japanese language step by step. So students run writing class, 2 writing class before third grade student. Writing class, writing Japanese 2 is for second grade student. Second grade student writing 2 class is go on like the first introduction and Students make first draft, and teacher give feedback about grammatical error, and students do peer response and make second draft, and teachers give feedback. But uh, uh, when they were second grade student, I introduced peer response, but we have some problem. Like there is a gap between each student writing and reading proficiency. It's not likely to be easy for students to make negative comment on other composition because this concern facing threat. And my students say that no comment like that, so we cannot activate it peer response. So I try to introduce two activities before peer response. One is feedback about grammatical error with Kafur, and two, I introduced peer reading before peer response. Let's jigsaw method. Please pay attention to this view graph. This is a topic on the writing course. And first one, feedback about grammatical error. I introduced grammatical error feedback with Kafur. Kafur is a game-based classroom response system. Kafur has two ways to play. One is person, only person. Another is team with team share devices with classmate or teacher. This is for example. Teacher makes some questions for student, and student responds with each devices. For example, smartphone or iPad or laptop in classroom. And then we can view how many students correct, how many students not correct, like that. I use team with team mode because I wanted my students to talk and to help each other. And next, I introduced peer reading with jigsaw method. First, teacher corrects student mistake and creates four model essay as written by a fictional character, not real student, a fictional character. And then the student read model composition, model essay about helping each other with jigsaw method. This is, for example, view graph. I write on this graph. This is for model essay. Author is Miss or Mr. or Mr. Miller, Miss Pompimo, Miss Tanacha, like that. They are fictional characters, and then I said for fictional character like them, or Mr. Miller, Miss Pompimo, Miss Tanacha, like that. And then the teacher divides students into four groups. Group A with Mr. O, essay and we read Mr. Miller's essay and you see read Miss Pompimon's essay like that. And after reading, uh, student talking about good point or bad point of uh, the essay. And finally, I introduced peer response. A student talk reading student essay and talk with student, but not friend with students who have never been here before. Talk about which point is a good things, a good point, and even the point needed more information, more explain, like that. And then what the great people like this, and then the student talk about this point about their essay, their composition. And this is our example. One student in the writing course wrote them. What? This is first draft. Second one. This is second draft after feedback and after peer reading. And third one. This is after peer response. Sorry for inconvenience in Japanese language, but the student says that my name is student name. I a student, third student of Lancet University, Japanese major student, like that. But the student sent to teacher in class, so they have known each other already. So the student don't have to do self-introduce again and again. The teacher have known already she or he is Japanese major student and she or he is third grade student. So actually the student don't have to say university Japanese major student. So maybe the student talk while during peer reading and peer response. So the student revise like that only name and third grade student. So the student can make correct essay, correct email. The student can revise by her or herself. So I think it's meaningful that activity, peer response, peer reading with feedback with couple. And then this is student class evaluation. What this graph describes is that over 80% of students are satisfied with the course and peer reading and peer response. And almost 100% are satisfied with how to the way feedback on grammatical error. And these are from class evaluation. A student comment like that. Pompimon's composition. Pompimon is a model composition. maybe easier for me to understand my friend composition. And then there are so many examples. Maybe the student need or composition, model composition. That it's easy to understand the content of friend composition. But some students say that sometimes it's not clear what we shouldn't write and should write. And it's a little bit difficult to read the content about model composition. Then finally, I'd like to summarize the key point in today's presentation. One, grammar feedback should end before peer response so that grammar mistakes don't interfere with peer response. And two, forms that are not personally identifiable, heading for growing their affective filter and activate discussion and activate peer response. Third, setting and sharing good writing standard is effective for activating peer response, I think. This is references. This is the end of my presentation. I'd like to close my presentation. Thank you so much for taking the time to join. I'm honored to have an opportunity to be part of at this conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akane. Do you have any question or? Anyone have any question or suggestion or comment?
Yes. Hello. Yeah, this is Sui Chai speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. So a very interesting study. I think that this is part of the teaching and learning for second and third graders, right? As far as I understand, and I can relate it the personal experience with this that it can be very hard for at that level of learner to really to understand the content, like when it comes to like how they can read other peers work. And my I think that I hope that this study also connect the finding with the maybe couple framework from from the education perspective, like learning theory, like one of which number one is the Bloom taxonomy. So I think that would be good to see the connection, that at what level based on Bloom taxonomy this work can be explained by that. When as you know, like Bloom taxonomy has six dimension. Number one is the remembering, that I think at these graders memorizing this is what the tend to be more one of the objective as they between when it comes to teacher, how teacher convey teaching and learning for this level. And then the second layer for Bloom's taxonomy is the what do you call, hold on, remembering. And then I think that hold on 1 second, let me. Yeah, so I think basically, so please consider Bloom's taxonomy also famous to see that how this finding can be explained. I think that would be really interesting to see that connection. So I think that in the end, it sounds like to me that the finding based on student feedback or comment, one of what I learned from this finding is that they learn how to create. So I think that in the Bloom taxonomy, the higher level is the creation. So basically the learner is able to not only understanding, remembering, but also be able to compose. So I think that this is a very interesting study, into me, because, when it comes to teaching and learning for second and third grader, it can be very challenging. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Akane, for the great presentation. I do appreciate your teaching tactics to activate peer response and writing skills in the class. So let me ask some questions. From the research, is there any other way that doesn't support peer response as uh, as an expert in teaching in writing? What in your opinion, is there any other way that doesn't support peer response or writing skills? Hello?
Sorry, thank you for question to me, but sometimes I cannot hear you, so please speak more clearly or sending a message on chat. Sorry, would you like to send chatting to me?
Okay. I mean, can you give me some ideas that what tactics don't support peer response from the students? In your course, you use Kahoot and peer reading, but you think what the way doesn't support peer response in the past?
And Akane ครับ Are you still there or?
Okay. Mm,
Okay. Maybe.
sorry, I cannot understand what TikTok. Sorry, so sorry. Tactic. What?
I mean the what strategy you don't advise to use in the course is not good for peer response? Okay, never mind. I think I want to suggest for the research in the future. Perhaps you can compare effectiveness of different tactics or different ways of teaching skills. You can compare student skills from different tactics, different strategies, right? You can use, and you can use the experimental study to compare, so you can see query the effectiveness of the teaching teaching ways, something like that.
Oh, okay. You mean I should do the other aspect, and I should use other materials, right?
Yeah. In the next research to be query and to be useful, you can conduct experimental research to compare student skill from different strategies of teaching, something like that. Or I do appreciate this this way of teaching and presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so for your kind comment.
Okay, thank you. Can we pass to the next researcher, Mr. Sitanon Jesdapipat? We're going to present about Thailand cannabis system. Mr. Sitanon, can you share?
Yeah, thank you. I cannot share my slide yet. The former slide needs to be taken off, please. Thank you. Hello.
You cannot share your PowerPoint slide, right?
No, the other one is still on screen.
Oh, I see. Okay. Wait for a while. But I don't think no one share the PowerPoint slide at this moment. Ajahn, you can share. But
Oh, wait, it's very slow. Can you hear me?
yes, can.
But there's nothing on the screen on my computer anyway. Thank
no
you,
problem,
Ajahn.
Ajahn. Otherwise, I can
Yeah.
share for you.
Yeah, I will keep talking then.